Hello and welcome to Jacqueline Rose Women's Health. And I am so happy to be here with you. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the things that really is most concerning for women, and that is how do you even know that you are perimenopausal or in menopause? So, let's get started. So, the first thing is, what is perimenopause? We need to define that term before we figure out if we are in perimenopause. Perimenopause are the years leading up to menopause. Now, just in case you haven't heard me say this before, menopause is a date in the calendar year. It is the date of your last period. And you only know when your last period is when you have had 12 period free months. So 12 period free months, have a party, celebrate, you are in menopause. But all those years leading up to menopause, from when you start to notice changes in your body, that is perimenopause. How long does perimenopause last? Anywhere from 2 to 10 years. It really can be that long. So, what are the signs? How do you know that you are in perimenopause? And this is where things begin to get very subtle, very interesting, a little bit complicated sometimes. So, you can begin perimenopause anywhere in your early 40s. And what are the signs of perimenopause? Well, they really are the menopause symptoms that you are so familiar with, but they can show up in lots of different ways. So there are, in my categorization, three types of menopause symptoms. The first one is physical symptoms, physical changes that your body goes through. They may be subtle at first, vaginal dryness, itchy eyes, stiff joints, aches and pains, weight gain, things that you could very easily attribute to something totally different. Feeling more lethargic, more tired, um, sleep pattern changes, insomnia or waking up in the middle of the night, any of those things, very physical changes that your body is going through, where your body just doesn't feel like the same. It's not behaving the way that it used to behave. Those are the first types of signs that you are in perimenopause. The second signs are the emotional changes, the mood swings, anxiety, depression, feeling more irritable, less tolerant of those people around you, more angry. All of those emotional changes, not really feeling like yourself, loss of identity, all of those are also very much menopause related. And again, sometimes it's very difficult to really pinpoint that it's perimenopause related because these things could easily be attributed to things going on around you, feeling more stressed, more overwhelmed, not being able to cope. All of those things very easily could be explained away. And the third sign, the third group is the cognitive brain function changes. And those changes would show up as brain fog, forgetting words, lack of motivation, lack of concentration, lack of focus. Really, that inability to remember a conversation. And again, we often have those types of sensations and feelings maybe when we're going through pregnancy, that baby brain phenomenon that many women feel after pregnancy, that we just again attribute to being a busy working woman, maybe with kids, maybe responsibilities at work. All of these things, these symptoms can be explained away by lifestyle, work related, maybe if you've got extra stress at home in your family life, feeling more lethargic, low energy, feeling overwhelmed. It could so easily be explained away by things going on in your life, which is why sometimes for women in perimenopause, in their early menopause journey years, it's sometimes less obvious that this is the beginning of perimenopause. Later on, when you get to the more typical age of when menopause should happen, it sort of becomes a bit more obvious. Often you have period fluctuations, you have hot flushes, night sweats. They're very obvious menopause signs, but that doesn't happen till later on for some women. And with those obvious menopause signs, if you're going to get checked out, if you go to the doctor, they'll know what you're talking about, because that is the way that menopause is normal to show up. But really, pay attention, ladies. There are between 50 to 75 different menopause symptoms, different ways that menopause can show up for you. And for you, in your personal situation, it can show up in with any of those symptoms. Some of those symptoms may be severe, debilitating. Some of those symptoms may be very mild. You may have a totally different menopause experience to your best friend. And that's why it becomes so difficult sometimes to recognize menopause symptoms, to recognize that you're in perimenopause, because it's different for every woman. Which is why you need someone who understands the different ways that menopause is showing up and the different ways that you are experiencing it, to really pinpoint and tell you, you are not crazy, you are not dying, you don't have early onset dementia, and you do not have rheumatoid arthritis. You need someone who understands this. And unfortunately, our doctors, our local, very well-trained GPs, local doctors, unfortunately are not trained in identifying menopause symptoms. They are not trained in understanding menopause symptom management, especially in perimenopause, which is why, as the menopause coach, that is what I do, and I support you and I help you, and I really give you the tools to help you navigate this stage of life. So if you are beginning to notice change in your body, please rest assured, it is common, is what many women go through. You do not need to suffer. You do not need to be confused. You do not need to struggle. There are ways to help you navigate this stage of life. You just need to be aware of it. You need to have the awareness and understanding of what you are going through, which sometimes is the hardest part. But I hope that you understand now that it is possible for menopause to show up in lots of different ways. And you may only have, for example, brain fog. That may be your menopause experience, that you just can't think clearly. And it's so difficult to go to the doctor and say, I think I've got brain fog. I'm not really thinking clearly, because it's very difficult for the doctor to respond or to know how to respond in that way. And that is why so many women don't end up going to the doctor, and they don't end up going to the right people to get the help they need, because it is such a difficult thing for women to explain, to express, and to sort of go to the doctor and say to them what their experiences are. So please know, you are not alone. What you are experiencing is normal and common and happens a lot, but be aware that once you hit 40, you are already beginning your perimenopause journey, and it is very possible for perimenopause to show up with all the menopause symptoms that you may or may not have heard about. As I said, there is a long list that can show up in lots of different ways. Every woman has her unique story, but know that there is a way to navigate this time with ease, joy, and confidence, and without pain, struggle, and suffering. So if you think you may be perimenopausal, if you think you may be experiencing menopause symptoms and you didn't realize it before, then please reach out to me. Let me help you. Let me support you along your menopause journey. Have a fantastic day.